Hello, thank you for joining us on this special podcast. I'm here with Miss Beth Elliott. Hey, Beth.
Hey, Brandon. I'm glad you got my music right this time.
Yeah, we got the music. And so also, we are privileged to be here with Mr. Mayor Jacobs, I guess I should say. I appreciate you being here today. And so what we're doing today is we're actually did a ribbon cutting, but not for a new business, a ribbon cutting because we announced our partnership with Siemens Automation and elliTek. And one of the things we're excited about is our training. And so we're at our training center. Our podcast studio is in our training center. And the mayor came today to help us announce that partnership and cutting that ribbon. So thank you very much for doing that. And so that's an example that I'd like to, and this is the reason I wanted to talk with you, to just extenuate is the time that you've taken with us, with companies, small businesses in Knox County like elliTek, but also many other small businesses. You post a lot on social media and things of that nature. And so I just wanted to thank you for that, for your taking such interest in small business. Small business is and entrepreneurials and startups, that's a big deal for me. So I wanted to just basically kind of give you a chance to kind of talk about some of the workforce development and training programs that you've been a part of since you came into office and some of the successes that you've seen.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. Small business is the backbone of our local economy. It's the backbone of the American economy. The folks that run small businesses, that often the founders are our neighbors, they're our friends. Small businesses are the ones that get out there and support local high school teams and do all that sort of stuff. And I just admire people that will start a small business because it's really hard.
Yes, it is.
I've done that a couple times, and I haven't done very well at it, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And the entrepreneurial spirit it's part of the American DNA, mm-hmm. and it's part of what makes this country great. So, of course, anything that I can do to help highlight and promote small businesses in general, I think is important for me to do. That's really my number one priority is good jobs for our community. Absolutely. And it's small business that actually produces most of those jobs. When you look at the job growth across the country, it comes mostly from small business. What we're going through now in the global economy is a transition, mm-hmm. and it really is away from traditional manufacturing towards innovation. Mm-hmm. It's the innovation sector that's creating all the jobs. And people hear that and they freak out a little bit because, you know, when for the county, when we talk about economic development, people think, oh gosh, this next big expansion or the next big business is coming here. Well, for us, it's a little different because Knox County does not have a whole lot of large plots of flat land.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going to get a huge manufacturer. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get a car manufacturer in Knox County. It's just not physically possible for us to do. But what we can do is we can get the research and development. Yeah. We can get the education. We can get the headquarters. We can get the innovation side of stuff. And as I said earlier, that's what's driving everything right now. But to take advantage of that, we have to have a workforce that can do that. Yeah. Yes. And I think that's where we need to pivot. And we're doing that as a country, especially here in Knox County with some of the things that are going on within our school system, but also with companies like yours, because you know your needs best, mm-hmm. right? You're the one that's out there working with these companies and you see what they need. And that's what I really love about you all is that you've taken it upon yourself to have the elliTek University and to do those sort of things that we really need. So just all that stuff combined, I mean, I think that here in Knox County, we get it because we do have a lot of high-tech institutions, whether it's University of Tennessee or the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where a lot of good stuff is coming out of, and then companies like Siemens in the area that's what they do. Yeah. And we're just going to have to take advantage of that. And we do have to take better advantage of that. But nevertheless, I think everyone's starting to realize that the old economy is transitioning into something completely different. And if we want to thrive, that we're going to have to get on board with that.
Well, I agree with that 100%. 100%. So, Beth?
So I've got a question for you.
Sure.
One of your top issues is strengthening our local economy and your support policies that have allowed local businesses to grow and create more than 2,500 jobs for Knox County residents. What can Knox County do to help continue this trend in your next term?
Well, I think the most important thing that we can do as a community is just be friendly towards businesses and to realize, again, that small business is what drives everything in our community. For me, jobs are the number one priority, good jobs, because look, I can handle if someone comes and says, my street's terrible. I don't like it, but I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle it when they say, I can't get a job. I don't know how we're going to put food on the table. I don't know how I'm going to take care of the kids. Good jobs solve a lot of the problems that we would be dealing with otherwise. And I would much rather talk about, the pothole out in front of your house than I would the fact that the poverty rate in Knox County is too high.
Yeah.
So just it organically takes care of so many other issues that we might have. And I think, here we've, over the past several years, we've made some changes at the Chamber of Commerce and done some different things there. And also just across the state of Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is awesome. We're in a great place. We don't have a state income tax. Mm-hmm. We're one of the most tax-friendly states in the country for state and local tax, as well as the regulations that we have here they're not nearly as onerous as many other places. Yeah. And I think that those things, of course, help us. And then you look at our geographical location, and 60% of the nation's population is within an 11-hour drive of Knox County. So that really makes us perfectly positioned for whether it's distribution or even headquarters. Mm-hmm. In Nashville, Charlotte, Atlanta, they're all within, 3 or 4 hour drive. So we have a lot of advantages here that other places don't. And then, of course, with the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, the University of Tennessee, and TVA, we also bring a high-tech package that I really think is unmatched around the world. And we haven't done a great job of taking advantage of that. And we're moving in that direction. Mm-hmm. But if you look at places like Silicon Valley, if you look at Boston, Austin, Texas, they have. And their innovation sector and high-tech sector is really thriving because what they've been able to do is they've been able to combine everything from the capital to the brain power to all of it is right there. And those are things that we need to do to compete. It's one of those deals like it's a chicken and an egg argument. Mm-hmm. Once you get the first company, you'll start attracting others, but how do you get the first company? And I think that we are now on our way towards doing that.
Certainly, and that's what I've always said. I mean, you provide the workforce, you provide the capability on all levels, and you're right. As we're in manufacturing, we've been in manufacturing for a while. A lot of people freak out when you start talking automation, robotics, things of that nature. But especially post-COVID, the whole labor equation has changed because there's still a shortage. There's a shortage of labor, and it's a crazy thing for another podcast to talk about why the unemployment numbers are low, but everybody's hurting for right. labor. And so it's a reclassification of labor now. So we're putting robots in place and automation in place, not to displace people, but to level them up for the more expensive right. Processes that can't be automated, or the return on investment's 20 years or something like that. Anytime
that you go through a technological revolution, which is what we're seeing with mm-hmm. automation, people think, it's going to eliminate all these jobs. And what actually happens is it creates more.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we see that with the automobile industry, right? I mean, put all the buggy makers out of business, but it put a lot of people into work making cars. We saw that in the internet revolution. Sure, it was going to put all these people out of work, but it created more millionaires than any other point in history. And this is going to be the same thing. Yes, it won't put people out of work. It will destroy some jobs, this is true, but it will create many more than it ends up. And higher paying jobs. Yes, exactly. And that's where the education comes in. Better standard of living. Absolutely. But you're right. And these jobs will require more technical acumen and a higher level of education. Not necessarily, though, when we think about that, not everybody has to be engineers. Nope. It's just the training is going to be different. That's right. When I got into this business 30 years ago, you had to have a 4-year degree. Right. I mean, and even then we were kind of lost. It was new. And over the last 30 years, big companies like Siemens have worked to get the complexity down.
so that a person didn't have to have a 4-year degree and still be lost. So we brought the rocket science out of it, made it more palatable, and now we can train on that. And so that's what we're planning to do out of our training center, working with companies in the Knox County area and greater East Tennessee area, whether they're Siemens customers or not, offering these trainings, sometimes even for free. We do training credit programs and things of that nature, but with the idea of leveling up the people that you have, and if you're onboarding new people, level them up and get them to the point where basically we're adding automation tools to the toolbox.
Sure. Right.
And that makes all the difference. And then it makes all the difference for Knox County, because if you have ample workforce, you're going to attract those larger companies.
Yeah, and that's something that we have to keep in mind. When we talk about jobs, there's different kinds of jobs. And what we really like to see is improving the median wage rate, basically. Higher paying jobs. That's what we'd really like to see. And those radiate throughout the economy too. Because when people have more money to spend, they help create other jobs. It's just good for everybody.
Well, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to visit with us and give us your insights. I wish you the best of luck. Any calls to action? I know we've started early voting now. That's underway.
Yeah, early voting. We're recording this on Wednesday, and early voting runs until next Saturday, the 30th. Election day is August 4th. I do encourage everyone to get out and to vote. Also, for our business people out there, we often think, oh, I'm going to train folks and they're going to go away. They're not going to work for me, and it's a lost investment. It's sunk money. That's not true. What we're really doing is you're improving the overall workforce, and that does benefit everyone. And it's been interesting. We here in a couple months, the county will open our Skilled Trades Academy and Regional Training Center. And since we've done that, since we've undertaken that project, I've had so many folks and businesses reach out to me about how they can help. And often it's just kind of putting it out there, and then people realize that this is a good thing and it'll benefit all of them. So, you know, if I'm a small business person, if I'm an owner of something and I'm looking and saying, where can I make an investment? It's in your people.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
one of the most important things you could do. And something like this with good training, I think, really helps everyone.
Well, I want to thank you again for your time. Thank you for being part of our ribbon cutting ceremony and coaching me on that. I've never done a ribbon cut before. So
as we discussed, we can't call it a ribbon cutting. It was a banner decoupling.
Decoupling. There you go.
We'll get a much more technical term.
There you go. Yeah, of course, elliTek's been around since 2009, so we're not a new business, but our training center is kind of new for us, and so especially with our relationship with Siemens. So if we can congratulations
on the expansion with Siemens of what you're doing. That's awesome. And just continue. Good luck with you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Beth. Thank you for putting this all together.
Absolutely.
When you all see this, it's because she produced it. So we just have to sit here and talk. So we've got the easy part.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Get out and vote.
Yep.